Hi everyone, my name is Isaac from the Innovation Consortium, and today I would like to share with you about sprockets, what they are, where we use them, and the specification of the chain. On my table here, I'm having these components, and these are what we call sprockets. Where we use them, the definition and probably the specification we are going to be passing through in this series of how to basically. So someone could ask, what is a sprocket? A sprocket is just a toothed wheel which meshes with a chain to transmit power or motion, rotary motion or linear motion from a drive end to the driven end. So basically, where are the teeth? These are what we call the teeth. Around this component we call the sprocket. So it's a toothed wheel. It's a wheel, as you can see, but it's having teeth around it, which mesh with a chain to transmit linear or rotary motion from the drive end to the driven end basically. So that's how I can define a sprocket for you, and ideally I hope you've understood what it is. So if you hear any term sprocket anywhere, it could be a sprocket of a motorbike or a machine or any accessory you use and it's having a sprocket, this is what they mean by a sprocket. It's a wheel having teeth around it, basically. So first of all, we've understood the definition of what a sprocket is. Secondly, we're talking about the different types of sprockets. The types differ from the number of chains or links they drive. One, we have a simplex. Having talked about the chains before, we had a simplex chain, we had a duplex chain, and we had a triplex maybe, and very many other depending on the number of links they are having or joined together to make one chain. So same applies to the sprocket. A simplex, it's having one, it can only drive one chain or one link of a chain. We have a duplex, it can drive two chains, so it's having two wheels or two wheels around, and it's one single component basically. So the basic difference, we have a simplex. A simplex, it only drives one link. The duplex, it drives two links. The triplex, it drives three, and so on and so forth. Quadruplex drives four links, and very many others depending on the loads you're pulling or you're pushing or the torque you need in your drive mechanism. So that's the first difference or specification of a sprocket. The second could be the material in which the sprocket is being made out of. There are those made out of hardened steel or low carbon steel. There are those made out of aluminium. There are those made out of stainless steel, and very many other types of materials depending on the material property you need on that very kind of sprocket. Now the other specification we talked about, we specify a sprocket by the size or the dimension size. So what do we consider if we are talking about the dimensions of the sprocket? We consider the width of the teeth, and by the width we mean this. When we talk of the width, from the edge of the teeth, that's what we mean by the width. So we normally measure by the use of calipers the width, and we'll be able to ascertain the width of this very type of sprocket. We also measure the diameter. We consider the diameter of the sprocket from one end or from one start of the tooth to the opposite. That's what we mean by the diameter. It's also another dimension we consider. We are specifying the size of the sprocket. So there is also the number of teeth of the sprocket. and those ones we count them manually. You can even count them manually: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 number of teeth on this sprocket. The third dimension is the module. The module, by the module I mean the shape of the teeth, the shape of the teeth of this sprocket. And by the shape you can see the carvings of this tooth, and they are normally standard. You find different modules, but they are standard. You can't cut any tooth or by not following the module, or you can't find the tooth without a module. So they are standard, the shape of the tooth. So we consider the module, the width, the diameter. Then the other dimension we consider is the pitch, or the diametral pitch. And by diametral pitch I mean the distance from the center of one tooth to the center of the other, or the corresponding tooth. From one tooth to the corresponding center to center of two corresponding teeth, basically. So that's what we mean by the pitch. So the other dimension we consider, as we are talking about the specification according to size, consider the pitch of the teeth. And by pitch I mean the distance from one center to the other center of two corresponding teeth. From the center of this teeth to the center of the corresponding teeth. Basically, that's what we call the pitch. So those are the 4 common dimensions we consider while choosing the size, or while considering the size of a sprocket, basically. So basically, that's what I can say about the specifications. And ideally, I think by knowing the specification and the different types, and maybe the definition of what a sprocket is, I think we are all now getting the clear picture of what a sprocket is, and how maybe to specify it, and the different types, basically. So I remain Isaac from the Innovation Consortium. Thanks for watching.